This episode is sponsored by The Alcohol Experiment, a free 30-day challenge designed to interrupt your patterns, give you control, restore your health, and put you back in touch with the version of you who doesn't need alcohol to cope, relax, or enjoy life. More than 220,000 people have already tried The Alcohol Experiment for themselves and have seen improved sleep, increased happiness, reduced anxiety, and so much more. Join thousands in this inspiring, hopeful, and exciting program where you examine your beliefs and reconnect with the best version of you without ever feeling like you're missing out. Start today for free at alcoholexperiment.com. Hey, this is Annie Grace, and I am answering readers' questions. And I got a question today that says, "Hi, Annie, I do not crave alcohol now-ish, and I can be around it and abstain. But what I have is what I would explain is a fear of alcohol, that one day I'll have a craving or I'll fear the thought of never drinking again. I don't feel confident that I won't want to drink. I feel that there's still a desire, not willpower fighting strong, but still some sort of desire. Will this go away, or is it something that will always be? 29 days sober." So I think the gist of the question is, am I always going to have some sort of craving? Am I always going to have some sort of desire? First of all, I want to say a 29 days sober to just mostly, not crave alcohol is amazing. It's phenomenal. It means that everything is happening and working just great. It's great, great, great progress. Second, I want to say that often, having no desire ever from alcohol comes from two main things. It comes from, first of all, going through a lot of firsts for the first time. So we often recommend an entire calendar year. That's why the PATH program, we recommend people do it for an entire calendar year. And that is really this idea of anything that you're going to do for the first time, it's probably going to feel different and weird. And it might be a full-blown craving, or it might just feel like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go. This feels kind of uncomfortable. Or it might be really mellow, or it might be nothing. But once you do something for the first time, that next time gets so much easier. It's absolutely incredible. So first of all, doing something for the first time. So often a calendar year. So 29 days, you haven't had your first Halloween, you haven't had your first New Year's, maybe I doubt you've probably had your first birthday party, or, your first, obviously probably not vacation, things like that. Doing it for the first time is really important, because that first time will not always feel comfortable. It can often feel like uncomfortable and strange and weird because you just haven't done it before. And it's like anything you do from the first time, the first time that you, I don't know, go live on Facebook. The first time that I went live on Facebook, it was so nerve-wracking. And now, I've done it so many times that it's relatively like a non-issue. But the first time you do something, so that's the first aspect, is the first of anything. And the second aspect is not being afraid to get really curious about the times that you do crave and desire alcohol. So here's the thing, is that cravings come from a belief that there's a benefit. And that benefit might be something totally hidden and subconscious. That benefit might be something really obvious, like all my friends are drinking and I'm be left out. That benefit might be a really deep belief about I'm just not going to be good enough to, do this thing if I'm not drinking, because alcohol has always been my liquid courage. Whatever it is, every single craving comes from a belief that there's a benefit that we're missing out on. And so often, and especially what you described as fear, feeling fearful of desire, can keep you stuck in desire, ironically, because when you feel fear, you are afraid, you just want to push it away. We want to push away what we're afraid of. So if we feel some sort of desire, like, oh my gosh, that other day, I thought I was totally over this. And then, we went out and I was offered a glass of wine and I felt like, why do I want this? I know this is poison. And you start with that sort of self-talk of beating yourself up for your desire, feeling fear of your desire. You're not often going to be curious enough to just go into it and be like, why do I want this? What is it about this situation or this group of people or this day or how I'm feeling otherwise? Getting really curious. And sometimes cravings come from things like you're just hungry and your body wants something. And so it's putting alcohol in that something line. Sometimes it comes from you're just bored. Sometimes it comes from loneliness. Sometimes it comes from having a bad day. There's so many things. But when we have the curiosity and tenacity to just keep going until this is resolved, then you can very methodically go through all of these points and not feel fear about it. Just feel like, okay, this is great. Every time I have a desire is it is a point where I can stop and learn because I can question, why am I tempted to drink? Why do I want to drink? What is it about this situation and this circumstance that's interesting for me to drink a glass of alcohol? Like, what is it? And just getting really curious and mindful about that actually can very slowly over time undo all of your desires. I remember my first wedding that I went to was literally years after I had stopped drinking. And so when I went there and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. Like, this is the first time I've even had any desire to drink. I felt like so like off balance because I just hadn't had any desire for years. And then I really dug into it. I was like, oh, I feel like, especially with this group of people who I haven't seen for a long time, I feel like I'm going to be left out. And when I dug into that, I was able to solve it. So all of these desires can be solved. So don't look at it with fear. Just look at it, okay, I get to experience all these first. I'm going to be curious about it. Some might be uncomfortable. And every time I do have a craving or desire, I get to find out why. Because the truth is, we don't want something we don't believe provides a benefit. So if you can get really curious and be like, what is the benefit that I think alcohol is delivering under this desire? You can actually solve this. And no, you will not forever want it. It will be like something that you used to do, something in your rear view mirror, something that you crave as much as you crave a glass of motor oil. Like that actually will come if you do these two things. Be patient with yourself and first, and instead of being fearful of your urges or desires, get super curious. Know that even if it's subconscious, even if it's buried deep, you're having that desire because you still believe at some level there's a benefit. And when you get really, really curious about what that benefit is, then you can undo it. And that's the magic. So thanks so much. Great question. Are you ready for a deep dive and truly lasting change? If so, you might consider my intensive program. It's a 9-week self-led program that you can do in the complete comfort of your own home, and it will truly transform your relationship with alcohol. If you want to learn more about this, go to thisnakedmind.com/intensive. And as always, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, as it truly helps the message reach somebody who might need to hear it today.